Now, now we are supposed to discuss Lord's reply to the prayers. So 29th onwards is Lord's reply to the prayers by Lord Brahma. Somebody can read the translation and the purport of 29th.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavats. Shloka 29. The Supreme Personality of Godhead then said, O Brahma, O depth of Vedic wisdom, be neither depressed nor anxious about the execution of creation. What you are begging from me has already been granted before. Hare Krishna.
Please read the purport also.
Okay, Prabhuji. Purport. Any person authorized by either the Lord or his bona fide representative is already blessed, as is the work entrusted to him. Of course, the person entrusted with such a responsibility should always be aware of his incapability and must always look for the mercy of the Lord for the successful execution of his duty. One should not be puffed up because he is entrusted with certain executive work. Fortunate is he who is so entrusted, and if he is always fixed in the sense of being subordinate to the will of the Supreme, he is sure to come out successful in the discharge of his work. Arjuna was entrusted with the work of fighting on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and before he was so entrusted, the Lord had already arranged for his victory. But Arjuna was always conscious of his position as subordinate to the Lord, and thus he accepted him as the supreme guide in his responsibility. Anyone who takes pride in doing responsible work but does not give credit to the Supreme Lord is certainly falsely proud and cannot execute anything nicely. Brahma and persons in the line of his disciplic succession who follow in his footsteps are always successful in the discharge of loving transcendental service to the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So this is an example of an ideal conversation where Brahmaji was expressing his incapability and fear in the execution of duty. So he was feeling that I am not qualified, my dear Lord, please give me qualification. And also, please save me from the entanglement of dual mentality. And Prabhupada says this is the perfect mentality. Whereas Lord is saying that along with the service, we didn't just give you service, we also gave you empowerment to execute your service. So you don't have to worry because along the service that empowerment has come. So that's you can say it's like a ideal master and servant relationship. So as servants of Krishna,
Oji, the connection is not good.
we should not be like confident thinking, no, we can do everything in the life. Although Lord may empower us. my voice audible?
Prabhuji,
What is that for?
can you please speak again, Prabhuji? We could not hear.
Uh-huh.
Can you speak again, Prabhuji? We could not hear what you just said.
Am I audible?
Now,
Am I
yes,
audible now?
Prabhuji, yes, yes.
Okay. So I was speaking about a perfect master and servant relationship. That as servant, Brahmaji was very humble, but as master, Lord had already empowered Brahma. So for us also, we have to understand one thing, that whatever empowerment is coming from the Lord only. And that's why I've personally seen my own life and also in the life of many devotees, that as soon as we start finding faults with someone or we become proud, immediately Lord puts us down to make us humble. How many of you had this experience before? Yeah. So I have had so many experiences. It's like I'm trying to find fault with some devotee, immediately same thing happens to me. I remember one of our devotees, when I was in Brahmachari ashram, he was like pretty fanatic and strong about cleanliness. So little bit uncleanness here and there, it was difficult for him to tolerate. And we were like 50 people in one hall. You can imagine. It's like 24 hours of activity. So one hall with 24 people with small almiras where you can put some luggage. So then one day he was really upset and he was like angry at everyone. Why you put your gamcha here? Why you put this thing here? Why you put that thing there? And this and that. And then finally, all these 7-8 devotees who are being chastised by this devotee, they saw one gamcha. He thought, yeah, it's very dirty. And then he saw that gamcha. That was the gamcha of the devotee who was chastising everyone. So it was like he was really humbled. Really humbled. And happened not just with him, me also many times. It's like if I tell no, I chastise someone, oh, why this thing is not clean. And then after some time, now I pick up my bead bag and find people looking at the bead bag and it's not clean. So there's something. So that's why the mood which Prabhupada is speaking is that a devotee should always be humble and understand that I need empowerment of Krishna. And that is the reason, even before giving any class, we pray. Before doing any seva, we should pray. Before doing any seva, we should pray. Even in home also, it's like once I went in my home, all my family members are devotees. So I was cooking for the youth for almost 1.5 years. It was a tough time. It's like in between our youth center was in between a forest. So all the snakes and mosquitoes all would come. There were no pipelines there. Hardly electricity was there. And my seva was to cook for almost 15-20 devotees. So after 1.5 years, I became very confident. I'm a very good cook. And then when I went in home for cooking, somehow I had cooked everything except puris. So then I was telling them, no, I have cooked this, I have cooked that. So then they told me, why you cook puris? And I know at least I have seen how to cook puris. So then when I started cooking puris, I had filled a lot of ghee. And then as soon as they saw the quantity of ghee, they started laughing at me. They said, you have not cooked anything. It will immediately overflow. So that's like now you've been very humble. I know I sort of be proud that earlier before that all I do is glorifying Prabhu, such a nice fish, this and that. But then entire pride was like smashed to powder. So we should be very humble all the times. Somebody else want to share some experience?
Hare
Lord,
Krishna, Prabhuji. Oh,
Bhakti,
I had a very humbling experience. So what happens during Krishna Janmashtami? All of us who we announce in the congregation, and I'm that type of person, like Prabhuji, you said, adhere when you are in congregation, adhere to rules. So, so people sometimes are scared to talk to me. So there was a rule that please bring your Balagopal, Laddu Gopal, for Abhishekam. What happened? One of the senior god brothers, god sisters, they brought their Krishna Balaram out for Abhishekam. So the first year we allowed. We said, okay, I don't know why they did this, but in front of everyone, audience, we cannot say that because everyone is there. The second year they repeated the same, despite giving that particular instruction clearly in advance, only Balagopal. Oh, not Krishna, Krishna Balram, again they brought it out the second year. And I was really angry. I could not control myself. I said, no, Mataji, like few families, they want to see Krishna Balram Abhishekam. So it's the same Lord, but the point was then everyone has Krishna Balram also or God and Nitai, then you bring all the deities out, right? So it's not only your deities. So my dad told me to keep quiet, Vaishnava etiquette, don't fight. But I was so angry that after that, they left this place. They went to Dubai, but their congregation spread out. So these small actions, I was really humbled. I said, these small actions, they are not like criminal, really humbled. And there's such amazing congregation preachers. They made so many devotees. They've even gotten them initiated. And they're still there in Dubai now. So I was really humbled, Prabhuji, big time.
Yeah. Yes, Brother Dharpo, you wanted to say something?
Slowly, I experienced it yesterday. I went for the Shayan Arti Seva in the temple. So I wanted to check when I went in. I think the previous devotee would have done the Seva. Things were a bit scattered and not how it should be in the altar area. So in my mind, I got a bit agitated and angry that why people do Seva like this. They never put things at the right place. Why is this cloth lying here? Why are the loose flowers scattered here and there? So I got a bit agitated, but then I tried to control myself because I had to do the seva. So, but this thing like agitated my mind. So, really, what is the right attitude here, or what should we do in these cases, Rohit? If you can guide something, Rohit.
Yeah. So the simple principle is strict with oneself and lenient with others. So unless until I am a deity in charge, I should not like force. So if we have some concern, we can express the concern to the related authority. And then we should understand that even Krishna is tolerating us. What qualification do we have to versus the deities? It is Krishna's grace that he is allowing us to serve him. And we may be making millions of mistakes. And see, if we were perfect in serving Krishna, Balaram or the deities, we would be residents of the spiritual world. So we are not trained. It's like a class 1 boy, chastising a nursery boy, saying that no, you don't know anything about mathematics. But main thing is even class 1 boy hardly knows anything about mathematics. So those were trainers generally, because I have trained devotees since a long time. After a few years, they realize that if we want to train devotees, we have to sometimes allow them to make mistakes and let them improve. If we correct them for each and everything, they won't improve. So the best way of training is speak in a way that encourages them to realize a mistake and correct themselves without getting hurt. See, like for example, now I want to cook, but I don't know any Western etiquette. So within a half an hour, somebody gives me 100 corrections. It's like I would be paralyzed. I would think to better give up that service. So it's not encouraging, it's sometimes discouraging. So if we are in charges, we should train devotees and we should know the art of training devotees. Training should be encouraging rather than discouraging. And if we are informed to the authorities and let Krishna take care of everything. If we see how Prabhupada has allowed his disciples to be trained, we can't think of. I don't know how much it is true, but one of the devotees was telling that in one of the temples, Prabhupada just initiated some devotees into Brahmanical initiation. They were not trained. And Prabhupada told that, no, you take care of deities the way you take care of yourself. So in that temple, there was only one towel. So all the devotees after taking bath would dry their bodies by the towel. And they had heard from Prabhupada that the way you take care of yourself, you take care of deities. So after all the devotees would wipe their bodies, they would wipe the body of deities also. So when Prabhupada came, Prabhupada told to the deities, my lord, please tolerate them. Otherwise, how will they get trained? So compared to that, nowadays devotees are much more trained, the way Prabhupada had to see. So earlier, devotees not trained at all. In one of the temples, Prabhupada went, and then he looked very carefully and he saw, this is not Tulsi Maharani. And Prabhupada said, no, this is not Tulsi. So they said, no, Prabhupada, this is not Tulsi, but this is sister of Tulsi Maharani. Prabhupada said, where is in the scripture it is given that you can worship the sister of Tulsi Maharani? And it is right there within the ISKCON premises temple where deities are there, not like in some householder's house. So the things which Prabhupada had to tolerate were unlimited. So unless until we tolerate devotees, we can never train them. We can never train them. So we need unlimited patience to train them. Okay, so I hope it answers your question.
Yes, Prabhuji, definitely, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Hare. Yes, Subhamani Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I have means many experience like this, that when I chastise someone and it happened to me. And one example is I used to chastise my son and my Prabhu. And they were sleeping while chanting always. I used to tell them, you people are always sleeping and chanting together, you are doing. So nowadays, I don't know, for past many days, while I was chanting, I myself, I am sleeping. So they are laughing at me now. So you are chastising, means you are making fun of us, see now how you are. But I don't know, now I am not able to control sleeping while chanting every day. Then I thought maybe it is offense I did. That's why it's, I mean, I'm getting sleeping now like that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Hare. Beautiful experience. Yes, Raj will ask me.
So probably chastisement, I don't know many, but this other experience I've had a lot of times where, if I tell someone, okay, I'm doing this very nicely, and immediately the next day it crashes. Like for example, if I tell, I get up at 4 o'clock and chant, next day I cannot do it. Somehow or other, it just fails. So that has happened so many times. I can remember so many times it's happened. So nowadays I try to never talk about my sadhana with anyone, because if I talk, it's gone. So I say, somehow by Krishna's mercy, I'm able to do this. But I try never to say that I'm able to do this, because tomorrow, who knows if I'll be able to do it or not. But that's a very common experience I've had.
Yeah, it happened with me also many times. It's like one time there was one very senior devotee. I won't tell his name. So I was like in Gaur Purnima, and we were in Mayapur, and I chanted 108 rounds with him. And then, so it became very late in night, and I was very confident that even if I don't sleep whole of the night, still I can attend the Mahan program and chant my japa attentively. So that devotee was glorifying senior devotee, and he's like very senior to me, maybe at least I would say 30 years more practice than me. So very senior person. So then he was glorifying, and I said, yeah, Prabhu, somehow some improvement has happened. No, maybe even if I sleep, don't sleep in the night, then I can attend the Mahan program and I can be active in chanting. So night after chanting 108 rounds, I went and visited the Lord Chaitanya's birthplace and came down in the night. And somehow I was so tired, I slept. And next day morning, it was like after so many years, maybe decades, more than a decade, I missed the Mahan program. And then this devotee met me after one program, and he was telling, yes, Prabhu, no. So should we go to chant? I told yes. So he told, no, actually before one program also I was searching for you so that we can attend one program together, but I didn't find you. Maybe you were somewhere in the crowd. I don't know. I was not in the crowd. I was on the bed. I missed the one program. So really, it was such a humbling experience. Yes, Jai Gazabu.
Hare Krishna Babuji, maybe this is my question, maybe. Because in the Nirjala Ekadashi, so sometimes we do the 64 round. So once that we completed 48, the next 16 round, it is very quick. Eh? It's the mindset that, oh, this 60 rounds is nothing. So then 64 done, okay. But that understanding was that, oh, 16 is very, why the people are struggling 16? 16 is nothing. So that day my mind was like that. And then from next day onward, 16 become the top also. So I don't know what. And then another day, the 16, oh, in the 3:30 in the morning or 4 o'clock, 16 round, very attentively, we did very nicely. And I thought that, okay, so 16 rounds I have done very nicely today. So it will be easy. Then every day I will do like this. But after that, it is not coming the same thing. It's not repeating. Means again the quality is down always. So I don't know why it is happening.
Actually, so anyway, good experience, good to say. And apart from as a question, as an answer to the question, till we come to the level of Nishtha, our bhajan is anisthit. Anisthit means ups and downs will be there. There will be ups and downs. When we come to the level of Nishtha, then there is a steadiness. So, and Nishtha, as far as I heard from many Prabhupada disciples, is generally it takes 30 years of good practice. So it's a long, long journey. It's a long, long journey. So that's not easy to come to that level. So it is something which happens with everyone. But as the years pass, that difference of good and bad chanting is reduced as the years pass. So only after we come to this Nishtha, it becomes steady every day. So that's there. And apart from that, holy name is a person. So as soon as we have some pride, Lord doesn't dispute it. Janma Saraswati Sivir, Edaman Madapaman, never Avitatam Tamakinchan Gujra. So if we have pride of anything, we can't, Prabhupada writes in the purport, anybody who has a pride can't cry for the holy name feelingly. So unless until we know that no, we are very fallen, and only holy name in the form of Krishna Balram or Gaur has come to deliver us. And unless until with that spirit we take shelter of the holy name, we can't chant. So chanting from the heart would come only in the humble heart, not in a proud. After Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like Krishna in the mood of Radharani, and he is crying and saying, I have no love for Krishna. So who are we? Who are we? Goswamis of Vrindavan are seeing Krishna and Radharani all the time, and they are saying, Hey Radhe, Radhe Devi ke Chalarate, Hey Nanda Sunakota. They don't claim, oh, I have seen Krishna today, I have a nice relationship with Krishna. So humility is like a ornament for all the Vaishnavas. Pranadapi Sune Chena Tarudapi Seshna, Amanina Manina, Kirtisan, Kirtani Sadari. So I will just forward the Bengali word. This is Kanthai Slok. What was that verse? That we should wear the this sloka in the thread of the holy name and wear on our neck.
Yeah, that is,
No,
I forgot the sloka name. That is around in the 13th or 14th chapter of Adi Lila. And
yeah.
Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami told that every devotee should make a necklace of this. Is a like necklace, yes.
So holy name is like thread, and this verse is like the necklace. And every devotee should wear this necklace on his throat. So this is like a anyway, good experience. So this is elaboration on Prabhupada's purport on this verse. Now we'll go to the next verse. Somebody would like to read verse number 30, translation the purport.
O Brahma, situated yourself in penance and meditation and follow the principle of knowledge to receive my favor By these actions, you will able to understand everything from within your heart. The mercy of the Lord bestows upon a particular person engaged in executing the responsible work entrusted unto him is beyond imagination. But his mercy is received due to our penance and perseverance in executing devotional service. Bomba was entrusted with the work of creating the planetary system. The Lord instructed him that when he meditated, he would very easily know where and how the planetary system must be arranged. The directions were come from within, and there was no necessary for anxiety in that task. Such instruction of Buddhi Yoga are directly imparted by the Lord from within as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 10.10.
Thank you. So dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upyantate. So creating 14 planetary system is not an easy task. But Lord instructed Brahmaji from within to perform the task. And sometimes, really speaking, again, at least it is my experience, and I may be experience of many devotees, that after coming Krishna consciousness, we really get empowered. We really get empowered. Like, for example, I personally know I was extremely poor speaker. I would mumble so many things, eat up so many words, and hardly I would speak anything in the whole day. Quite a silent person. So much so that in class 9th, as I remember, class 10th, nobody would like to sit next to me. Because I want to speak whole day. Keep on thinking something, contemplate something, or no. But I would go out to play. So there would be physical activity, but not much speaking. And my teachers would sometimes beat me because they would ask me questions and I won't answer. I would mumble, eat half of the answers. But then after coming Krishna consciousness, like sometimes even classes to 2,000 people. So I myself was wondering, how is it possible? So this is all empowerment by the Lord. It's all empowerment. So for devotees, they can easily see if they reflect on their backgrounds or past lives or life's past activities. We can find that's like so empowering. We do things which we can't even think of. Same thing with Sanskrit. It's like we had Sanskrit in class 6, 7, and 8. And subjects like mathematics, I would get full marks. And Sanskrit, it was like it's passing marks. 40%, 45%. Only toward the end of class 8, my father sat with a big stick. And for almost 2-3 days, he would beat me whenever I won't be able to answer. And that's how I scored 80 marks in Sanskrit. So I was very fearful to learn any new language, Sanskrit. But then after coming Krishna consciousness, and somehow it's like you are reciting. Now I remember so many slokas. So this is all by mercy of Lord, nothing else. So if you remember our background, you can find that Krishna really empowers and performs miracles. But if you become proud, then everything is gone. Rather, sometimes Krishna so much empowers devotees by seeing that become humble. They know that it's not me. It's like very clear. It's not me. It's not possible. This also somebody also said, maybe one devotee also share some experience like that. As I said, my experience.
Prabhuji, I didn't have, this is surprising you said about your childhood experience, because you're such an amazing Vaishnava that we want to do the entire third canto with you. Prabhuji, I didn't have any issues speaking. I had a good oration during school, but I was always scared to give class. So, because I would always think that I don't have enough knowledge, right? But like my brother, he's my younger brother, but he's like my Siksha Guru. So he literally, because his practice is like 400% compared to us. So literally he pushed me in once in ISKCON Sydney temple. He said, you're going to speak. Yeah. So my first preaching or class was in Ram Navami, on Lord Rama, on Ramayana. And I was so scared before that. I said, are you kidding me? 100 people will be there. So that power came from Vaishnavas and from Lord. You're so right. It cannot be us.
Yeah.
Vaibhava.
And for me, at least, it's practically everything. Singing. I was a good poet before, but singing was never like a. But then I started singing, devotees are appreciating. I could understand it's not me, not possible. I can't sing. So Krishna really powers. Even other devotees, also we have seen some devotees no skill at all. But when they were sent, we were surprised to see, they are creating thousands of devotees, managing the entire temple, and it's like, giving Sunday feast programs, and the way they are doing things, we can't even imagine. They will be able to do the things which a normal person performs. So it's like, if we look in ISKCON, really will find, although people may not be very qualified, just because they have a desire to serve, Krishna empowers. So if you have desire to serve, Krishna empowers. Really. Now we can go to the next one. So that I'm with you. Somebody can read 31, 32, 33. And 33 also.
O Brahma, when you are absorbed in devotional service, in the course of your creative activities, you will see me in you and throughout the universe. And you will see that you yourself, the universe, the living entities are all in me. You will see me in all living entities as well as all over the universe, just as fire is situated in wood. Only in that state of transcendental vision will you be able to be free from all kinds of illusion. When you are free from conception of gross and subtle bodies, and where senses are free from all influences of the modes of material nature, you will realize your pure form in my association. At that time, you will be situated in pure consciousness. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. In the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, it is said that a person whose only desire is to render transcendental loving service to the Lord is a free person in any condition of material existence. That service attitude is the Swarup or real form of the living entity. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also confirmed this statement by declaring that the real spiritual form of the living entity is eternal servitorship to the Supreme Lord. The Mayavad school shudders at the thought of a service attitude in the living entity, not knowing that in that transcendental world, the service of the Lord is based on transcendental love. The transcendental loving service is never to be compared to the forced service of the material world. In the material world, even if one is under the conception that he is no one's servant, he is still the servant of his senses, under the dictation of the material modes. Factually, no one is master here in the material world, and therefore the servants of the senses have a very bad experience of servitude. They shudder at the thought of service because they have no knowledge of the transcendental position. In transcendental loving service, the servitor is as free as the Lord. The Lord is Swarat or fully independent, and the servant is also fully independent or Swarat in the spiritual atmosphere because there is no forced service. There are transcendental loving service is due to spontaneous love. A reflected glimpse of such service experienced in the service of the mother unto the son, the friend service unto the friend, and the wife's service unto the husband. These reflections of service by friends, parents, or wives are not forced, but are due only to love. Here in this material world, however, the loving service is only a reflection. The real service or service in Swarup is present in the transcendental world in association with the Lord. The very same service in transcendental love can be practiced in devotion here. Hare Krishna.
Please continue. Yeah, some more.
This verse is also applicable to the, is it Gyani Prabhuji?
Gyani, yes. Some problem with
the enlightened Gyani, when free from all material contaminations, namely the gross and subtle bodies together with the senses of the material modes of nature, is placed in the Supreme, and is thus liberated from material bondage. The Jnanis and the devotees are actually in agreement up to the point of liberation from the material contamination. But whereas the Jnanis remain pacified on the platform of simple understanding, the devotees develop further spiritual advancement in loving service. The devotees develop a spiritual individuality in their spontaneous service attitude, which is enhanced on and on up to the point of Madhurya Ras or transcendental loving service reciprocated between the lover and the beloved. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hari, thank you. So the 31 and 32, yeah. So they discuss about the relation of Shirodaksha Vishnu and Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So Lord told to Brahma that you will see me in you. That is which Vishnu?
Shirodaksha Prabhuji?
Shirodaksha Vishnu.
Yes, that's Shirodaksha Vishnu. The Lord who is within Brahma and throughout the universe. So you will realize that. And then he says, you will see that you yourself and the universe and all living entities are in me. This is which one?
Garbhodaksha Vishnu can be
Yeah,
even
Garbhodaksha.
Karanadaksha.
Yes, both. Garbhodaksha Vishnu also for one universe and for the entire creation it's Karanadaksha Vishnu. So in this way you will realize both the things. And actually speaking for Brahma, he would never get into an illusion because he has realized that the entire planetary system is constructed from lotus and the other three elements coming from the Lord within the stem of the lotus. So that means everything in this world is either Krishna or is Krishna's energy. And if you can see Krishna and Krishna's energy everywhere, then we cannot fall into illusion. Illusion is one when we see things not connected to Krishna. So that is called Maya. Vrityartam yat pratiyeta na pratyecha atmani tad vidyad atmano mayam yatha bhaso yatha tamam. So if we are not able to see things and connected to Krishna, then there is Maya. If we see things in connection to Krishna, there is no Maya. So there is no possibility of Maya. So for Brahmaji, that's why there is no Maya. And then he says, and you will get perfection of life. That is, you will realize your pure form in my association. What is your eternal relationship with me? So that's like the greatest boon which Brahma got. And did I speak this verse? Kamadinam Kathitana Kathita here? No?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. And then Prabhupada talks about that how everybody is servant. Everybody is servant. Some people are servant while being conscious as a servant, whereas some people are servant while being not conscious as a servant. So those who are not conscious as a servant, they're actually servant of the senses. So senses are dictating and asking us to enjoy the sense objects. And we are fulfilling the demands. But we are not the senses. We are different from the senses. So that's why when we are thinking that I am not serving senses, actually we are an illusion. Or we are thinking we are enjoying the senses. That time I am identifying myself as senses. And actually I am serving the senses. But I am thinking that I am the senses, so I am in that. But a devotee, he realizes that such a service to the senses is never ending. Kamadinam katita katita apalita durnisesas tesam jata maina karuna na tripano prasanti usrijeta natyadupate samritam labda buddhis twamayata saranam abhyam mamnim shamadasya. So the beautiful verse which says Kamadinam katitana katita. Kamadi, Kam, Krodh, Lobh. Katitana katita. What to say and what not to say. So they have given me certain instructions. Certain things I can reveal to in public. Certain things I am so ashamed that even I can't reveal in the public. I have followed so many orders of Kam, Krodh, Lobh, all these anarthas. And top of that, Tesam Jata Maina Karuna. I have done overtime. I said at least give me holiday on Sunday. They said no, Sunday double work. You have to work more hard on the Sunday. So they gave me no holiday till now. So na karuna, they have no mercy upon me. These senses make me work day and night. Na tripa. Na tripa means despite working so hard, till today's senses are not satisfied. They are not satisfied. Na upasanti. They are not silent also. They are always demanding more and more sense gratification. That's why Ustra Jedan Yadupate Samtamla Prabhutis. That's why, my dear Yadupati, Krishna, somehow I got the intelligence and I have given up their service. Tvam ayata saranam abhyam mam vyamshamdas. So, my dear Lord, now I am taking shelter of your lotus feet. Please engage me in your service. Because service to the senses is not at all beneficial. I've been thoroughly exploited. Now I just want to serve you, not my senses. So realization that I am not a senses itself is like a big realization. It's a big realization. Next level of realization is actually I am servant of the senses. And higher realization is senses can never be satisfied, only Krishna can be satisfied. So let me serve Krishna, not the senses. So that is how. Everybody is servant, somebody knows, something. Kirtita Vandana, very much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sorry, I wanted to ask, sorry, I just realized that with relation to Shloka 30. So when they're talking about tapa and vidya, jnana, for example, knowledge, when you're doing it in devotional service, so Lord Brahma, he followed the instruction of Lord Krishna, and he's doing like tapa. But is that tapa rightly called austerity, or is it called devotional service? Or vidya also, when we are doing anything related to Krishna, is that distinction correct? Like, should it be called devotional service, or rightly like penance, austerity, knowledge?
It's like penances and austerity, when they are connected to Krishna, they become devotional service. Otherwise, they just remain penance and austerity. For example, somebody is just doing fasting on a fasting whimsically. That's wastage of time and torture of the body. If somebody is doing fasting for the purposes of healing his body, okay, it's a service to the body. Somebody is fasting as a part of karma kanda for getting some benefits. That fasting is karma kanda. When a fasting is done with a desire to realize that I am not body also, so that my senses are subdued and slowly I'll come to mode of goodness, that's a jnana process. But when austerity, like doing things which are favorable for Krishna, although I may not like them, and not doing things which are unfavorable to Krishna consciousness, although I like them, then this austerity is devotional service. Anukula sankalpa pratikula svara. So that comes in the category of. So that answer the question? Yes, Varta Dharpo.
Prabhuji, can you explain a little bit on the Swarup thing? So my understanding is, Prabhuji, that we have 5 types of rasas. So each individual or jiva has a specific designated rasa. That is like the original, I may be a Dasya rasa person originally, my soul. So once we do devotional service, that kind of thinking or devotional attitude will develop on its own without me doing anything special. So is that true, Prabhuji, or these kind of rasas can change? Is my understanding correct?
Okay. I would request you to think in a third dimension. What is the third dimension? Third dimension is spiritual world is called Chintamani Dham. Chintamani Dham means no chinta remains. No chinta remains. That means any desire can be fulfilled. Any desire can be fulfilled. Lord Shiva, he is mostly meditating on Sankarsa. But when he desired to become a gopi, he became Gopi Sar Mahadev. He was that opportunity. So that's why, although a devotee may be well situated and happy in his own eternal rasa, if he wants some change, he can do that. That entire independence is given in the spiritual world. So in the spiritual world, every living entity enjoys the same empowerment like Krishna, by Krishna's grace. By Krishna's grace. So that is how whatever spiritual desires are there, they can be fulfilled. I'll give one more analogy to make it more clear. Like, there is a 7th floor building. Somebody is in a first floor, somebody in second floor, somebody in third floor, somebody fourth floor, somebody fifth floor, somebody sixth floor, somebody seventh floor. Now, person who is staying in fifth floor is happy and he doesn't say, I'm higher than the fourth floor and I'm lower than the seventh floor. What if I would be there in the seventh floor? So in general, a person is having his nice AC room and apartment and car and this and that, and he's happy with that. So then he doesn't want to change his position. But let us say if he wants to change his position, then he can change his position if he has money. So similarly, in the spiritual world also, generally devotees don't want to change their rasa, but if they want, they can. They want to. Okay, Brother.
Yes, Prabhuji, clear, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, one supplementary question. So, in Golok Vrindavan, do we have Janmashtami celebration also there? I mean, but because Krishna is always like 14 or 15 years old there, so do they have this kind of celebration or they don't have? Because they never see Krishna getting born there. I mean,
Actually, now in these rasas, because I'm not really so, we can just quote the acharyas. So in Anand Vrindavan Champu, Kavi Kanpur says that Krishna is Nitya Yavan in the spiritual world. He's always like 16 years old. But then according to Brihad Bhagavatamrita, things are cyclic. Cyclic means Krishna appears in Gokul Mahavan. He slowly grows. He becomes 11 years old. He goes to Mathura. Mathura, he kills all, comes and all the demons. And then again he comes back and he appears in Gokul Mahavan. So things are in a cycle. Things are cycling. So that cycle is followed. So when the cycle is followed, certainly Janmashtami celebration would be good.
it's a bit difficult to understand, Prabhuji, but okay, we can move ahead.
Yeah.
It's a bit difficult to understand, Prabhuji, but that's okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I heard from some Vaishnavas, so if you're talking about spiritual world, like Prabhuji said that Lord does not appear in the baby form, like so-called Leela. It's in the story form there. And in the Bhauma Leela, it like really happens. So your point is really interesting. That's amazing. That's like a lotus concept. Oh, beautiful.
So he's eternally born. He eternally appears again and again. So Janmashtami is permanently there. Okay,
Krishna Prabhuji, how the Lord from the Mathura, whether he has gone back again to Vrindavan or from there Dwarka?
no, see, even in this Bhav Vrindavan, Lord comes back. Lord comes back. According to quotation of Vishwanath Thakur,
Okay.
after Krishna met all the gopis and Nanda Maharaj we don't have time to discuss, like a really beautiful episode. When Krishna met with the Brajavasis in Kurukshetra, Brajavasis came with a vow that unless until we take Krishna back, we will not go back. We'll commit suicide by jumping in Brahmasarovar. So then every day Nanda Maharaj was practically pushed by the Brajavasis to convince Krishna to come back. But when Nand Maharaj would go to talk with Vasudev, his compassion for Vasudev would overcome his own pain. He would think, if I take Krishna back, what will happen to Vasudev and all the Dwarkavasis? They will die out of separation from Krishna. So because of that, he wouldn't have the courage to speak. After 2 months, they were staying with Krishna only, Brajavasis in their own tent, Dwarkavasis in their own tent. And now Brajavasis said, Nanda Maharaj, today you have to go back. And then he went and talked with Vasudev. And Vasudev also maneuvered something politically. He said that Krishna will come and say, we won't go in detail now, we don't have time. But then finally, Vasudev meets Krishna and expresses to Krishna also. Krishna says, Baba, don't worry. I'll go to Dwarka. If I don't go back now, Dwarkavasis will be in grief and all my enemies will come and kill these Dwarkavasis. So I'll go there. There, I would kill some demons like Salva. Then on the plea of Rasu sacrifice, I would kill this Sisupal there. After coming back, I will take one prastha. No, not one prastha. I'll again come back. And then Dantavakra and Vidurath would come with a plan to kill you. Because they know they can't kill me. But if you are killed, I will be killed. I have so much love for you. So then in a plea of saving you, I would come to Mathura, kill Dantavakra and Vidurath. I'll come back to Vrindavan and never return back. Actually, Krishna did that. Krishna didn't go back. So Krishna stayed after killing Dantavakra and Vidurath. Krishna came back to Vrindavan. He stayed with Vrajavasis for 2 months. And he took all the Vrajavasis back to Godhead, the way Lord Ram took all the Ayodhyavasis back to Saket Dham. And then one expansion of Krishna came back to Dwarka, took the vow of one prastha means I won't lift the weapons. And Kurukshetra battle happened after that. That's why Krishna didn't lift the weapons in Kurukshetra. And these details were not spoken to Parikshit Maharaj, because Sukdev Goswami was thinking, if I tell all these details to Parikshit Maharaj, he'll feel very bad. He had more connection with Dwarkavasis. He said, for Dwarkavasis, you got to arrange such a Mosal Leela, such a terrific fight, and Brajavasis is very nice and took them back to Godhead. So, in order to, it's like safeguard his sentiments, Sukdev Goswami didn't speak these things to Parikshit Maharaj. Okay,
Yes, Pauji. What also it is there, no, that Shamsundar Krishna has never left the Vrindavan, and then Vasudeva Krishna came to Dwarka, from Mathura, and then from Mathura to Dwarka. That is the Vasudeva Krishna, not Shamsundar Krishna. He has never left the Vrindavan.
Yeah, see, actually, we are talking more of a physical plane. So different plane, different things are there. So on a real level, Krishna entered the mind and hearts of Brajavasis and never went back. But on a physical Prakat Leela, he did go back in order to show that Vipralamba Bhava is higher than all other rasas. And this Vipralamba Bhava is exhibited by the Brajavasis only. So Krishna, in order to display that devotion to the whole world, that heart of Brajavasis, he did leave Vrindavan. But he did enter there in their hearts. Because you think of Krishna, you're with Krishna. You're absorbed in Krishna, you're with Krishna. So,
Sorry, Prabhuji, can you give us a reference of the Shastra, the book, about this incident?
it is there in either 10.87 or 86 chapter. I don't exactly remember the verse, but even our own Bhagavad Gita, not Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, 10.87 or 86, some chapter like that. The place where Kurukshetra, in Kurukshetra, Vrajavasis and Dwarkavasis they meet. That episode is there.
No, Prabhuji, I'm referring to your episode, this very interesting point that Lord Krishna went back, took Vanaprastha. That's why he didn't pick up a, kind of weapons. It's
Yes,
there in that?
Yes, we are talking about that only. It is given in one of the purpose of the verses.
Wow. Okay.
So that is given. There is an episode where Vrajavasis meet with Dwarkavasis. That episode.
Jai Ho. Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yes, Rasula.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, my question is related to that answer you gave about what happens in the spiritual world. You mentioned things happen cyclically, and you said Krishna goes to Mathura. I have read at another place that there are no demons in the spiritual world. There is the feeling of there being a demon, meaning Kaliya in person will not, so that demon will not come there, but there will be a feeling that there is Kaliya and there is a demon and something like that. So, but I believe you mentioned something about Kamsa being there and Krishna going and killing him in the spiritual world. Isn't it just a Bhaumi Leela and it does not really happen in the spiritual world, Prabhuji?
Yeah, so actually, all these demons are also participate in the Krishna Leela in the spiritual world also. But then the way Krishna deals with them is different there and different here. Like after subduing Kaliya, Krishna sometimes rides on Kaliya and goes to Mathura. Sometimes he goes with Akrura, sometimes he goes on with Kaliya. Similarly, sometimes after subduing this Kesi, he doesn't kill Kesi. He makes Kesi his own horse and he rides on Kesi. So, something different in this picture. Okay, Rasula.
So Prabhuji, what you're saying is they're not really demons in the spiritual world. They're devotees only. They're just playing the role of a demon. Is that right?
Maybe see, when we say devotee, he has a particular bhav, that's eternal. And their eternal bhav, their eternal sarupa is to behave like that. You understand? So, like we are, if I am in my eternal sarupa, I am happy. Similarly, they are happy in their eternal sarupa. Like, for example, Jatila Kotila. Now, whether you call them, how can Jatila Kotila be there in the spiritual world? Jatila Kotila with their own natures, which is their eternal nature, they are happy. So, they are eternally like that. Otherwise, how would be there so many exchanges of rasas in the spiritual world?
Yes, Prabhuji, you're right. Even Kamsa's mother, Padmavati, is there with that adverse nature. Yes, you're right.
Yes, she has got a negative role and a negative emotions for her also. Okay, so coming back to Bhagavatam from Krishna Leela to Srishti Leela. Please read 34, 35, translation for
34. Since you have desired to increase the population innumerably and expand your varieties of service, you shall never be deprived in this matter, because my causeless mercy upon you will always increase for all time. 35. You are the original Rishi, and because your mind is always fixed on me, even though you will be engaged in generating various progeny, the vicious mode of passion will never encroach upon you. Purport. The same assurance is given to Brahma in the second canto, chapter 9, verse 36. Being so favored by the Lord, Brahma's schemes and plans are all infallible. If sometimes Brahma is seen to be bewildered, as in the 10th canto, he is bewildered by seeing the action of the internal potency that is also for his further advancement in transcendental service. Arjuna is found to be similarly bewildered. All such bewilderment of the pure devotees of the Lord is specifically meant for their further advancement in knowledge of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
So, Brahmaji, he said that to Narada Muni. What was that? You can just forward the verse. So, this verse says that whatever I speak never goes wrong. Whatever I think never goes wrong. Looks like a very proud person speaking. But at the end he says, because I have held the lotus feet of Lord Hari in my heart. So in this way, it is explained in the second canto also, Prabhupada speaks, that Lord tells to Brahma that you will never become victim of mode of passion. And your services will also increase and service activity will also increase. Now the question comes, how did Brahma become bewildered? So Prabhupada says that this bewilderment is not like the bewilderment of three modes of material nature. This bewilderment is bewilderment on a spiritual level for the further advancement of a devotee. So Brahma had experienced the Aswararas, the greatness of the Lord. So he became bewildered by sweetness of Krishna. He became bewildered to see that how a Lord who is worshipped by so many tantras, mantras, mudras, and so many things, all the asmans have to be done to offer him bhoga. How can he eat from the mouth of another devotee? So some of the acharyas explain that actually Madhumangal had drunk the chach, and it's like, no, cheeks were swollen. So Krishna pressed his cheek like this. Chas came from the mouth of Madhumangal, and Krishna drank. And seeing that lamb, Brahma was bewildered. Now you can't, it's like the standard is that unless the DD plates are washed, nobody should even desire to eat whatever Krishna, whatever is offered to Krishna. So that standard is there. And now here Krishna is eating from other devotees' mouth, his friend's mouth. So in order to exhibit his sweetness, that there is something beyond greatness also, Brahmaji was bewildered. So that's what Prabhupada explains here in the Bhakti. Somebody can read 36 and 37.
Although I am not easily knowable by the conditioned soul, you have known me today because you know that my personality is not constituted of anything material, and specifically not of the 5 gross and 3 subtle elements. When you were contemplating whether there was a source to the stem of the lotus of your birth, and you even entered into the stem, you could not trace out anything. But at that time, I manifested my form from within. Reshna Guru.
Thank you. So now Lord says that although I am not knowable, you have understood me that my form is spiritual, it is not a material form. So when you were struggling by entering in the lotus stem, you could not trace out anything. So then you were not able to see me, but I was seeing your struggle. I was seeing your struggle and I appeared within you. So in this way, Krishna is there when we are struggling for the service. When we're trying to fight with our anarthas, trying to struggle with the metal situations, and somehow Sir Krishna is seeing us. So Brahmaji was not able to see that Krishna is watching him, but Krishna was watching. That is what Lord speaks. So that's Lord's compassion. Lord is very attentive to each and every activity we are doing in order to come closer to him. He's watchful over everything. Now next verse. Yachakartanga mastrotram
Yat chakartanga matrotam
matkathabhyu dayankitam
Matkathabhyayuddhayankitam
yadva tapasiti nishtha
Yadva tapasi te nishtha
sa es madanugraha.
Sa esha mad anugraha.
Please read the translation and the purport.
O Brahma, the prayers that you have chanted, praising the glories of my transcendental activities, the penances you have undertaken to understand me, your firm faith in me, all these are to be considered my causeless mercy. purport. When a living entity desires to serve the Lord in transcendental loving service, the Lord helps the devotee in so many ways as the Chaita Guru, okay, or the spiritual master within. And thus the devotee can perform many wonderful activities beyond material estimation. By the mercy of the Lord, even a layman can compose prayers of the highest spiritual perfection. Such spiritual perfection is not limited by material qualification, but is developed by the dint of one sincere endeavor to render transcendental service. Voluntary endeavor is the only qualification for spiritual perfection. Material acquisitions of wealth or educations are not considered. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you. So in this way, we find Lord is telling to Brahma that your chanting of my glories, your penances, your faith in me, all these are my causeless mercy only. They are spiritual and they can't be achieved by any material endeavor. So then who gets it? Those who have faith, and with faith, those who receive it. Like Suravi Kunjete Namhat Phulete. So at Suravi Kunj, Lord Nityananda has opened the Namhat. And what is the price? Shraddha Matra. Shraddha Matra. Those who have Shraddha, those who have faith, they will accept the holy name and get perfection of life. So that is how that Shraddha, that willingness to accept, is the only qualification. So that's why Prabhupada writes that voluntary endeavor is the only qualification for particular perfection. So if we volunteer, yes, I want to accept it, we get it. So that is the mercy of the Lord. Page 39, translation Bhakti.
Text 39. I am very much pleased by your description of me in terms of my transcendental qualities, which appear mundane to the mundaners. I grant you all benediction in your desire to glorify all the planets by your activities. Purport. A pure devotee of the Lord, like Brahma and those in his line of disciplic succession, always desire that the Lord be known all over the universe by each and every one of the living entities. That desire of the devotee is always blessed by the Lord. The impersonalists sometimes praise for the mercy of the personality of Godhead Narayana as the embodiment of material goodness. But such prayers do not satisfy the Lord because he is not thereby glorified in terms of his actual transcendental qualities. The pure devotees of the Lord are always most dear to him, although he is always kind and merciful to all living entities. Here the word Gunamayam is significant because indicates the Lord's possessing transcendental qualities. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So Lord says that my qualities are transcendental and they appear like mundane to the mundaners. So those who have mundane vision look with everything with a mundane vision. So like we may be chanting and devotees have different experiences while chanting. And if you ask from mundane people, they say so many things. Maybe it is placebo effect. Because you're imagining there is some ecstasy, you're getting some ecstasy. So people have different things and different ways of seeing even spiritual things as a matter. But and the reason is because they are habitual to see everything as mundane. That is the main problem. For that, Bhakti Swati speaks a very beautiful story, allegorical story in of this Bhakyan of this. So then he tells that there was once a Muslim gentleman with a long beard. So he was passing by and suddenly he happened to pass by a garden with jackfruits. And ripened jackfruits look very sweet. So as soon as the sweet smell of jackfruit came in his nose, he desired to get that jackfruits. But then it was in garden of some other person. So what he did is, he somehow climbed through the wall, climbed the tree, and so that nobody looks at, nobody catches him while stealing the jackfruit, he plucked the jackfruit, took in the home, but then the sap comes out of the jackfruit. So due to that sap in the jackfruit, entire of his beard was getting stuck here and there everywhere. So then he thought that if people see that no, my beard is stuck because of the sap from the jackfruit, they will understand that I have stolen the jackfruit.
This is
So
not
he's
hearing. Not able
not
to
here,
hear.
not audible to devotees.
Prabhuji, we can hear.
It's clear. It's clear.
Okay, it's clear. Maybe Jack is okay, we have to see your internet.
Now it's okay.
Okay, now it's okay. So then his beard got stuck in the sap of the jackfruit. So he saved his entire beard. And next day, when he was walking and he saw a British gentleman with clean shave, he told to this British gentleman, "Oh, you also stole a jackfruit like me." So then, because this fellow had to save his beard because of stealing jackfruit, he thought that anybody who has saved his beard has stolen a jackfruit. So Bhakti Saraswati tries to speak the same point. Those who are mundaners see everything as mundane. Only those who are devotees understand or realize what is spiritual. So that's what Prabhupada explains in the. Somebody can read 48th translation.
Well, just one question, a small question, maybe the silly questions. This
Mhm.
that in normal in Prabhupada write in many places that the demigods, they are the not the pure devotees, they are mixed devotees. But in case of the Brahmaji, it is written only the pure devotees. So that is the exceptional, correct?
See, when Prabhupada is saying demigod, person who is qualified for that position. So who becomes demigods? So those who have mixed devotion, or those who perform devotion with an understanding that Vishnu is the sanctioner of my sense gratification and empowerment, they become demigods. Now, after becoming demigods, anybody can become a devotee. Then anybody can become a devotee. So it's like qualification for being a demigod is mixed devotion service. But after getting the position of demigods, sometimes pure devotees also get the position of demigods. And after being a mixed devotee, after some time they become pure devotees also. So there is saying in Chinese, every saint had a past and every criminal has a future. Every saint had a past, every criminal has a future. So criminal doesn't mean he always remains a criminal. So similarly, somebody is a mixed devotee may not always remain mixed devotee. Because we find many demigods, like Varun Dev. He offered beautiful prayers to the Lord. He's also pure devotee. Then Sunny Dev. Sunny Dev is Krishna's devotee only. So anybody who takes darshan of Sunny Dev and near Nandagaon is not terrified or is not punished by Sunny Dev for the rest of his life. So he blesses Krishna's devotees. So anyway, so there's many demigods are like pure devotees, including Brahma. Brahma is our Haridasha. So he's like Namacharya. So when Prabhupada is condemning demigods, it's like he's condemning the mentality of trying to enjoy sense gratification, although it is sanctioned by Lord Vishnu. It is the principle. So not Sri Krishna, but Krishna.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Somebody can read text 40.
Hare Krishna. Any human being who prays like Brahma and who thus worships me shall very soon be blessed with the fulfillment of all his desires for I am the Lord of all benediction. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So this is the boon for those who are reading this episode. This is called Falshruti. So that is saying that anybody who has who prays these prayers of Brahma, he will get all his desires fulfilled. So that the boon of reciting these prayers of advice Lord Brahma. Next verse. Purtena tapasa yagyer
Purtena tapasa yagyer
daner yoga samadhina
Dane yoga samadhina.
samadhina.
pradam nisriya sampumsam
Radham
Nishreya
Nishreya
Sampumsam.
Sampumsam.
mat pritis tat vinmatam.
Matpritis Tattva Vinmatam.
Vinmatam.
Please read the translation and the purport.
Hare Krishna. It is the opinion of expert transcendentalists that the ultimate goal of performing all traditional good works, penances, sacrifices, charities, mystic activities, trances, etc., is to invoke my satisfaction. Purport: there are many traditionally pious activities in human society, such as altruism, philanthropy, nationalism, internationalism, charity, sacrifice, penance, and even meditation in trance. And all of them can be fully beneficial only when they lead to the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The perfection of any activity, social, political, religious, or philanthropic, is to satisfy the Supreme Lord. The secret of success is known to the devotee of the Lord, as exemplified by Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. As a good non-violent man, Arjuna did not want to fight with his kinsmen, but when he understood that Krishna wanted the fight and had arranged it at Kurukshetra, he gave up his own satisfaction and fought for the satisfaction of the Lord. That is the right decision for all intelligent men. One's only concern should be to satisfy the Lord by one's activities. If the Lord is satisfied by an action, whatever it may be, then it is successful. Otherwise, it is simply a waste of time. That is the standard of all sacrifice, penance, austerity, mystic trance, and other good and pious work. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So in this way, whether willingly or unwillingly, everything is meant for Krishna's service. So unless until Lord is satisfied, the fruit is not sanctioned. So Lord has spoken his words in the Vedic scriptures. Those who follow that instructions satisfy the Lord and get the results. But now it's different than worshipping the Lord for the satisfaction by the devotees. For devotees, Matchitta Madhagata Prana, Bodhayantu Parasparam, Kathantam Samam Nittam Tussanti Charamancha. So Tussanti Charamancha. They remain satisfied and they enjoy by what? Matchitta, always thinking of Krishna or remaining Krishna conscious. Madgat Prana, the meaning of that given by Chakravarti Pad is Madgat Prana. They maintain their life as only to please me. So unless until there is no opportunity to please Krishna, they say, I won't breathe. I won't continue my life anymore. And that is why entire works, penances, sacrifice, charities, mystic trances, even fights are only for pleasing Krishna. So whatever please Krishna, devotees are ready to do that. So that's a concern for devotees. Whereas other people also try to satisfy Lord, but that is only to get their work sanctioned by them. And 42 is a super beautiful verse. I would request all the devotees to memorize it. Very beautiful verse. You can decide after me. Aham atmatmanam dhatah
Aham
Aham
Atmanam
atmanam
Dhatah
dhatah
Preshtasan presamapi.
Preshtasan
Preshtasan
presamapi.
preshamapi.
Ato mai ratim kureyat.
Ato mayi ratim.
Amaratam kurya.
Dehadir yat krite priyaha.
Dehaderyat te priyaha.
Please read the translation and the purport.
The super soul of every individual. I am the supreme director and the dearest. People are wrongly attached to the gross and subtle bodies, but they should be attached to me only. Purport. The Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, is the dearest in both the conditioned and liberated states. When a person does not know that the Lord is the only dearmost object, then he is in the conditioned state of life. And when one knows perfectly well that the Lord is the only dearmost object, he is considered to be liberated. There are degrees of knowing one's relationship with the Lord depending on the degree of realization as to why the Supreme Lord is the dearmost object of every living being. The real reason is clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita 15.7. Mamaivamshu Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. The living entities are eternally parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. The living entity is called the Atma and the Lord is called the Paramatma. The living entity is called Brahman and the Lord is called Parabrahman or the Parmeshwar. Ishvara Parama Krishna. The conditioned soul do not have self-realization except the material body as the dearmost. The idea of the dearmost is then spread all over the body, both concentrated and extended. The attachment for one's own body and its extensions like children and relatives is actually developed on the basis of the real living entity. As soon as the real living entity is out of the body, even the body of the most dear son is no longer attractive. Therefore, the living spark or eternal part of the Supreme is the real basis of affection and not the body. Because the living entities are also parts of the whole living entity, that supreme living entity is the factual basis of affection for all. One who has forgotten the basic principle of his love for everything has only flickering love because he is in Maya. The more one is affected by the principle of Maya, the more he is detached from the basic principle of love. One cannot factually love anything unless he is fully developed in the loving service of the Lord. In the present verse, stress is given to focusing love upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The word kuryat is significant here. This means one must have it. It is just to stress that we must have more and more attachment to the principle of love. The influence of Maya is experienced by the part and parcel spiritual entity, but it cannot influence the super soul, the Paramatma. The Mayavadi philosophers, accepting the influence of Maya on the living entity, want to become one with the Paramatma. But because they have no actual love for Paramatma, they remain ever entrapped by the influence of Maya and are unable to approach the vicinity of Paramatma. This inability is due to their lack of affection for the Paramatma. A rich miser does not know how to utilize his wealth, and therefore, in spite of his being very rich, his miserly behavior keeps him everlastingly a poor man. On the other hand, a person who knows how to utilize wealth can quickly become a rich man even with a small credit balance. The eyes and the sun are very intimately related because without sunlight, the eyes are unable to see. But the other parts of the body being attached to the sun as a source of warmth take more advantage of the sun than do the eyes. Without possessing affection for the sun, the eyes cannot bear the rays of the sun, or in other words, such eyes have no capacity to understand the utility of the sun's rays. Similarly, the empiric philosophers, despite their theoretical knowledge of Brahman, cannot utilize the mercy of the Supreme Brahman because they lack affection. So many impersonal philosophers remain everlastingly under the influence of Maya because although they indulge in theoretical knowledge of Brahman, they do not develop affection for Brahman, nor do they have any scope for development of affection because of their defective method. A devotee of the sun god, even though devoid of eyesight, can see the sun god as he is even from this planet, whereas one who is not a devotee of the sun cannot even bear the glaring sunlight. Similarly, by devotional service, even though one is not on the level of a jnani, one can see the personality of Godhead within himself due to his development of pure love. In all circumstances, one should try to develop love of Godhead, and that will solve all contending problems. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So beautiful verse where Lord is saying, love me. He's demanding that love. So what Lord is saying is, the way people are wrongly attached to the gross and subtle bodies and they spend life after life just to satisfy their senses. So the way they're attached to gross and subtle bodies, they should be actually attached to me only. They should not be attached to anything else. So Lord is demanding love. And we find that in Krishna book, George Harrison has written, everybody is searching for Krishna. Some know, some don't. So that is the reality. So everybody is looking, trying to love Krishna directly or indirectly. So, for example, everybody is very much attracted towards someone who is very good looking, beautiful man or beautiful woman. Why? Because Krishna is most beautiful. Somebody is attached to someone with beautiful eyes. Why? Krishna has most beautiful eyes. Some people are very attracted to a person who is very intelligent. Why? Krishna is most beautiful. Sometimes people have, these kids have their rooms filled with the posters of some bodybuilders and some wrestlers. Why? Because Krishna is most powerful. Similarly, we are looking for someone who can have best relationship with us. Because Krishna is the He's the expert in having relationship with us. So in this way, everybody is trying to love Krishna, but main thing is it is misdirected love. It is misdirected love. So everybody is searching for Krishna, everybody is trying to serve Krishna knowingly or unknowingly. So even those who are trying to serve their senses, ultimately senses are also energy of Krishna. So those who are aware are liberated, those who are unaware are bound. That is the only difference. That's the purpose point. And the best way of appreciating that, appreciating Krishna is through Bhakti Yoga, through love of God. So Prabhupada explains that. So he gave the analogy of a sun. Those who are devotee of sun, they can see sun God. And those who are not devotee are terrified by the effulgence of the sun. In 11th canto, another example comes of a milk. Like we can see the milk, it's white in color. We can hear about the glory of milk. We can smell the milk. We can touch the milk, it's hot or cold. But real appreciation of the milk will come when we drink the milk. Similarly, by other different processes, one can appreciate law to different degrees. One can really appreciate Krishna and his qualities only through Bhakti. So the beautiful analogy comes in the language. So,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I just have a question on the second para. I understood that the Mayavadis are actually offensive to Lord Krishna. Do they have the conception of Paramatma at all? Because I thought they were saying that Lord Krishna, what I understood Mayavadis were, Lord Krishna is a product of Maya. They only believe in that effulgence, Brahman platform. So can you please explain the statement made by Srila Prabhupada in terms of merging with Paramatma? I didn't get that.
Okay. See, generally, Prabhupada, what we observed is, many times Prabhupada controls so much of the technical details. Am I audible?
The line's cutting, Prabhu.
Hari, am I audible now?
Is the voice still
There's a
breaking?
disturbance,
I
Prabhu.
had a question.
Yeah, but there is
So-
disturbance.
Disturbance. Okay. So disturbance was because of fan. Now there won't be any disturbance. The mic I use, it's like a very good mic in the sense that it amplifies, but then it catches each and every small sound and amplifies that also. It amplifies the noise also. So trouble with the mic. Yeah. So yes. So actually speaking, really speaking, Prabhupada doesn't go so much into technical details. That's what we have observed after reading in Prabhupada's books. He more focuses on the devotion part. So many times he doesn't, it's like too much discrimination between the impersonalist and Mayavadi schools. So then who is a Mayavadi? Mayavadi is one who thinks that name, form, qualities, passion of the Lord are Maya. So such a person is called Mayavadi. I'm just not getting that verse from Bhagavad Gita. Anyway, just missing some words from the Bhagavad Gita. So this verse, in that verse, the commentary given by is a famous verse. Somehow I don't know, I'm getting it. Anyway, we get verses only by Krishna's grace. So this, in commentary to this verse, Chakravarti Path says, it's in middle chapters only. Either 9th chapter, 10th chapter, where Lord says that one who is conquered by Maya thinks that I am an ordinary person. So all one's endeavors for karma, jnana, yoga, they are baffled if one thinks that I am an ordinary person.
Shloka Prabhuji, because I have his commentary.
Somebody can remember it, maybe we can help me to remember.
Oh.
Anyway. Okay. No, I am trying to remember the sloka actually.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember the sloka. But anyway, I'll just tell the commentary of Chakravarti Path. So what he says that is that all one's sloka? Yeah.
Is it Bhagavatam Shloka, Prabhuji?
Bhagavad Gita Mataji. No.
It's not
Avyaktam
No, not that one. Another one where Lord says is that all one's endeavor for Gyan, Tapasya, they all are baffled if one thinks that my body is made up of matter. Yes, what is the next one?
Mogasha Moga Karmana, Moga Jnana.
This one. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Yes. This was the thank you. Yes. Asurim Teva. So this verse says Mogasa. Mogasa means that one's asa for some spiritual perfection. Mok karmano means one's asa or one's desires for karma kanda, getting some fruits. Mok gyan means one's desire to get perfection from one's practice of jnana.
Prabhuji, Prabhuji, your whole commentary is
Brahman. So he
Prabhuji,
says, Lord says, they all will be perfect. They all will be perfect.
We can't hear you, Prabhu.
Hari. I hope it won't be a problem now. Try to connect to the best possible network available here. But let's see. So, am I audible now? What's that?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. So, again, coming back. Moga asa means even if somebody is practicing devotional service and trying to go to Vaikuntha or spiritual world. Moga karmano means if somebody is desiring to get the result of his karma kanda worship. Moga jnana chetisa. One is trying to get perfection of jnana by merging into Brahman. So they will not get that perfection. Moga means one will not get perfection. Rather, what will happen to them? Raksasim asaram cheva. They will get into demonic species. Prakriti mohinitam sita. And they will be punished by 3 modes of mental nature, again entering into a next body. So that is how one may even be practicing devotional service, or one may be practicing Jnana Yoga, or one may be practicing Karma Kanda. If he has a conception that Krishna's body is made up of matter, then he will be baffled in his attempts. So that is how such a person is called Mayavadi. So anybody who thinks Krishna's body is made up of Maya is called a Mayavadi. That's a simple difference. Okay, Kirti is available, Mati.
Thank you for the reference, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot.
Hare. And thank you so much, Mati, for reminding me. I was just trying to somehow not getting that verse. Now we'll go to the last 2 verses. Somebody can read 43 and 44, provided it gets loaded.
Hare Krishna.
Please
By following my
40.
Yes, Hare Krishna. By following my instructions, you can now generate the living entities as before, by dint of your complete Vedic wisdom and the body you have directly received from me, the supreme cause of everything. 44. The sage Maitreya said, after instructing Brahma, the creator of the universe, to expand the primeval Lord, the personality of Godhead in his personal form as Narayana disappeared. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So then after giving all the instructions to create this universe, Lord disappears. So that's the end And that's not the end, it's like a beginning for Lord Brahma. So it was like an initiation by the Lord to Lord Brahma. So now you're initiated, do the seva. And Lord instructed him in how to do that seva. And Brahma for rest of his life is supposed to perform the seva rites. So that's like end of this chapter. So we found this chapter how Brahmaji, he appeared in the top of lotus, being very intelligent. So first of all, he wanted to see the directions, so he got 4 heads. After that, Brahma was very intelligent. He knew that if I want to know my origin, I have to go to the root. So he goes down the stem to search for the root. But then being fearful of the Garbhodak waves of Garbhodak ocean, he climbs up again. And the air of devastation was wavering the lotus. So he was going very fearful. And then somehow Brahma, he hears the sound tapa. So he performs austerities. And as a result of that, all those austerities, Brahmaji gets the darshan of Garbhodaksa Vishnu. So the beauty of Garbhodaksa Vishnu is mentioned after that, comparing him with sandalwood tree, comparing him with the mountain of sandalwood tree. So all those beautiful comparisons were there. And then Brahmaji starts offering prayers to the Lord, talking about his own insignificance, talking about the greatness of the Lord, and then expressing his desire to serve the Lord, expressing his desire to not be entangled by mode of passion. And then Lord answers. So he gives very beautiful instructions. And then he says that the way one is attached to gross and subtle body, he should be actually attached to me, and he should love me and worship me. And then he says, now you can treat. You will not be entangled. And by empowering Brahma, then Lord dissipates. So that's a summary of the entire chapter. And then we'll move in the next chapter in our tomorrow's class into Visarga. Visarga is the further creation by Lord Brahma. So we'll talk about Visarga. So any questions? Otherwise, we'll end here. Chandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Vansa Padurvasa ke paas Vivsa Bhavana Vaishnava.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.